I see it. I see the families and the parents worry more about their non-treatment kiddo than their treatment kiddo because all of the attention is on the treatment kiddo. And so that sibling support piece is so incredibly important. And it's something that literally we're working towards every single day. We work in hospital a lot here locally. We have 3 amazing pediatric cancer hospitals. We have Akron Children's, we have University Hospital, and we have Cleveland Clinic. And we're really close with all 3 of them. And about 5 years ago, I was working at Cleveland Clinic and I was in their subway, like their waiting area to go back for infusion. And one of my volunteers came up to me and they said, there's a young, she was a young adult, but she was more like, she's like 28 at that time. Cleveland Clinic is amazing. They really will, they'll give you, they'll prolong life. Like if you have, they're not afraid to take on hard caseloads. Like it's amazing to see some of the work that they do up there, and they'll try everything they can, you know? So Lauren was one of those cases. She had been everywhere. She ended up at Cleveland Clinic, and she was sitting in this subway waiting area, and I was working with this other family and she was watching, and I walked up to this family and I introduced myself and I was talking to the patient, and then I turned to the patient's sister and I said, "And what is your name?" And the patient's sister said, "I'm patient's sister." And I was like, no. I know your sister. What is your name? And she's like, "Well, everyone just calls me her sister." And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna call you that." And I'm like, "I need to know your name." And she told me your name. I shook her hand, I looked in her eyes and I said, "It's really nice to meet you." I didn't realize anybody was watching this, but Lauren had been watching this entire thing. So my volunteer says, there's a young adult, we'll call her, or an adult actually, that wants to talk to you. Her name is Lauren and she's in this room. So I walked in and Lauren said, I watched you in that subway waiting area, and I just thought that was amazing, the way that you interacted with the sibling, and it got me thinking, like, the siblings must feel so unseen. And I was like, yeah, they do. And I'm like, it's really tough. But I said, you know, we don't really have the funding. It's hard enough to drive the funding that we need for our active treatment kiddos. And Lauren said, well, what if I tried to start something like a sibling fund? And I said, Lauren, I didn't think I could ask for it, but feel free. So she went home that night and she got online and she talked about Project Outrun. And she said, I had this interaction and I want to raise money for siblings. So in a night, she raised $10,000, like just 10 grand. Wow. So I said, Lauren, that's amazing. What do you want to do? And she said, well, what do you think we should? I said, well, there's this amazing camp. It's called Camp Quality. They get about 100 kids. It's about 20% treatment, 80% siblings. Let's go do shoes for the whole camp. And she's like, I'd love to. So we go to this camp. We designed shoes for every sit, and that was at the time where we were like designing like on site with kids. We designed just for 100 kids that day at camp. Lauren was there. The entire camp gave her a standing ovation. It was magic, absolute magic. So Lauren knew that she didn't have a ton of time. She knew, she always knew. And when her time was getting short, she called me. And her biggest fear was being forgotten. And I was like, Lauren, you're never going to be forgotten. I won't let you be forgotten. And you're unforgettable, right? So she said, can the sibling fund be my thing? I was like, it already is your thing. Yes, it can be your thing. And she's like, I'm going to get with my parents and we're going to call for some donations, and I want to get some money so that the sibling fund can be a thing. So I said, Lauren, I don't care how many donations you get $1. I'm going to figure out a way to make this a thing. So she raised a good amount of money before passing, and her parents actually asked me to speak at her funeral. Like, I spoke at Lauren's funeral. And if you can imagine, so I'm sorry, but if you can imagine, I'm a guy that walks into rooms like with shoes and shirts, and the fact that these shoes led to a friendship and led, like, she's in my office. I say what's up to her every morning. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is Lauren. And because of her, we have a sibling fund now that operates at our 3 Ohio hospital partners, Akron Children's, Cleveland Clinic, and UH. We provide shoes not just for the active treatment kiddo, but also their siblings, because we do believe that families fight together. And being able to accomplish that nationally is something that we're constantly working on, because I see it. I see the families and the parents worry more about their non-treatment kiddo than their treatment kiddo, because all of the attention is on the treatment kiddo. And so that sibling support piece is so incredibly important. And it's something that literally we're working towards every single day, because to hear the family's voice change And we do have this one thing that we run at Project Outrun, which is great. If you're a twin, so anytime there's a twin nationally, they're activated for the sibling fund. So like you tell us you've got a twin, sibling fund, right? But it's something that I can't wait for the day that when a family comes to us, we say we're here to take care of all your kids, because that piece is just so much more powerful.